Libra.
Hello Libra, this is your astrological forecast for March 2016, and this is a special month. We have a couple of eclipses. We have a total solar eclipse and a partial lunar eclipse. I'll go through them briefly here, but then I'm going to make a special, so keep your eyes peeled for that video, and yeah, you will see what is coming up there. But this month it's going to be busy because we have a long list of transits as opposed to last month. Fewer transit, it was more smooth. You were hopefully catching your wave. Beautiful month there, February. But here in March, see, your main focus now is going to be how you're setting up your day-to-day life. Looking at your schedule, looking at your health, looking at diets and so forth. So whatever you can arrange this month will actually open the door for how you can become a little bit more efficient in the way that you use your time, right? That's the sun, and it's coming through the area of the 6th house, which is ruled by Virgo. Virgo tends to analyze, and you're pretty good about analyzing as is, right? But it's going to analyze as long as you don't get into the analytical mind, because then that creates worries. But it's you focusing now, how can I improve myself, my health, my path, and so forth. And of course, we do have the new moon here. We have also the solar eclipse here, and the solar eclipse packs a punch of like 3 full moons here, so that's going to speed up new things for you. We have Venus and Mercury here in the 5th house, so it's a great month for you to have fun. There might be more interaction with children if you have them, but it's the area of your self-expression and creativity, having joy, you know, just leaning back, you know, and let your hair fall down, so to speak. Your creative self-expression might come out to play, and also for those of you who are self-employed, this is a great month where communication can take place. That's Mercury, where your creative energy, which is Venus, can come out and show. But also, the 5th house is romance, not necessarily the long-term committed type relationship, but more where you're interacting with your loved one. And in a very playful manner, because the 5th house, ruled by Leo, is all about leisure and fun. Mars, though, is trying to complete now its transit through Scorpio. It's been there since late there, January, so straight through February. You might have felt that your drive and your destiny has been super focused and energetic here, because Scorpio feels and emotes very deeply into the core. So you might have felt that this has been more important to you right now because of that Scorpion energy. It's in your 2nd house, so Mars has really been looking at your finances. What is it you're receiving? Is it enough? How can I improve it? So you might have been crunching numbers and thinking, you know, up a storm of how you can become a little bit more creative with it. Now, within that first week of March, Mars is going to move into the 3rd house for communication, short distance travel, and so forth. So you're going to see that you're going to be much more on the go, to and fro, busy, active, communicating with people. Now, if you're having to have interviews, presentations, anything of that sort here, Libra, well, Mars is going to help you come across as somebody who's very energetic, point specific, but also optimistic and enthusiastic. And that enthusiasm is coming from the sign of Sagittarius, which is going to color your Mars. So, and especially when it meets up with Saturn a little bit later, not this month, but that's when something, it's like the key in the door, unlocking something that you're going to be able to secure. That's what Saturn does best. So you're working towards something that is definitely going to set you on to a new 2-year cycle when that takes place. So anything you do now in March is laying the foundation and the grounds for what it is that you're really going to take a good grip on there in April. Jupiter is in your 12th house. It's been there now for a while. It will be there till late summer. Jupiter, being retrograde, is still operative, should I say. Jupiter expands, and it's expanding your subconsciousness, which the 12th house is all about. And that is you looking at your talents, your skills, your creativity, and your spirituality. What is it Jupiter wants to bring forward? What you're also doing with this placement, and we've mentioned that before, and I will say it again for those of you who haven't heard it, until late summer, Jupiter is going to be in this placement. It's finalizing a 12-year cycle, because once it gets into the sign of Libra, crossing your ascendants there, it's going to open up a brand new 12-year cycle for you, which is going to bring all of that generosity and hopes and expectations and so forth. So there might be a lot of looking back at where you've been, what you have accomplished from 12 years ago. So hindsight is always good. We learn from that, then we weed out. That's what you're doing right now, so that you can really structure what this next 12-year journey is going to be all about for you. Saturn is currently moving in your through your 3rd house, communication. You might see that there's a lot of interaction, and also I'd like to say maybe some serious business along with one or more siblings. The 3rd house rules your interaction with them, and Saturn is sometimes very sober with extra responsibilities and so forth. So you might see that going on, but it's also how you come across in the way that you communicate, and you're coming across with a lot of authority. Now that's a key word for Saturn, that you're very sober, down to earth, and mean business. Uranus in the 8th house, your relationships, well, that is always exciting. We never know what to expect with Uranus, right? For better or worse. On the upside, there's all these unexpected happy things, twists and turns coming in. And then on the downside, whenever the aspects aren't really all that good, well, then it can bring some unsettled news and whatnot and rock the boat a little bit. But it definitely changes up the way that the two of you will interact. Neptune, another long-term transit, is for you cruising through your 6th house. This is your health. Now, when I think about Neptune in that way, it's like holding water in your hand, right? It's there, but then it seeps through. So it disappears. So some of you, if you're feeling that you have something going on with your health, it can feel very physical and real, and yet the doctor can't detect it. Typical of fibromyalgia, for example, it's definitely felt, but it's hard to detect. And that is like that water seeping through. That's typical Neptunian. But, you know, the upside of having Neptune here is that you can really psychically, intuitively find ways of improving your health. And it would be through the intuitive arts of healing, for example. Some of you might grow more and more open to the alternative medicines, for example. Pluto, that is the last long-term transit that we have. It's halfway through the sign now of Capricorn. So for those of you in the first half of your sign, you've already gone through that Plutonian transformation within the home. Home and family, family matters, the grounds, the security of your home. You've seen how this has taken place. Also within real estate, for example, or major changes and shifts going on with one or both of your parents. Now, the second half of you Librarians, you will start seeing this coming in to be, but over the next couple of years, it takes a long time. So, but for all of you, it's all about transforming that inner sense of who we are on the inside. So let's talk about the transits. Here on March 2nd, Venus and Uranus, they have a sextile, and Venus is your love, your romance, but it also rules money. When Uranus comes in with a good aspect like this, we can expect unexpected news, but good news. We can also see that maybe it's a great romantic day where something is going to be said or shared or experienced that feels a little bit like um, unexpected, like an oh my god wow factor. On the 6th though, there might start appearing a couple of things that you're looking at, wanting to make some decisions upon. Now, this is going to take you straight through the 15th, and I'll take you through step by step. But the Sun and Saturn are square. The Sun being you, Saturn saying, what do you want to do about this? Something dealing with responsibility. And that Saturn is in your 4th house, so a family matter may appear here on the 6th. You're feeling really strong about your viewpoint upon it. I feel that you know what you feel and what you want and what you want to act upon in this situation. On the 8th, the Sun and Jupiter are opposing one another. The Sun in the 6th, Jupiter in the 12th. So this is you more trying to get a higher sense of perspective of what's going on in the subconscious and in what you can, in fact, give as a service or help or support. So you're weighing back and forth here, and it ties into what has just taken place. But here comes the decisions on the 14th and 15th. Let's start with Mercury and Saturn. They're square. Mercury is a communication, a conversation. Saturn with, since it's in your 4th house, no, I'm sorry, in your 3rd house, it can have to do with a sibling that is needing some information or some support, dealing maybe with one of your parents, because it is Saturn. It could also be here, especially because Venus and Mars are square too, same day. Venus is what you appreciate, it's what you value, not just romantically, matters of the heart, but also financially. It's squaring up on Mars. So you might just go, well, what do I do now? Could have to do with travel or thinking about travel, even though it looks like you might want to put that a little bit on hold. But there might be an expense here that will come into play. On the 15th, there's a deeper continuation of that communication from the 14th. Mercury and Pluto. It's trying to find the solution of that decision that you need to make. And it's also followed with Mercury now opposing Jupiter. Now the Sun was opposing Jupiter on the 8th. Now Mercury is. So I feel it's all like this one situation that's being billboard for you. And so I would say between the 6th to the 15th, it's a work through kind of thing while normal life goes on around you, but there's this one situation that's needing your focus. On the 16th, I think you have it in hand, decisions being made, and you're feeling great about it because Jupiter here is trining Pluto. Pluto's the 4th house. Home, family, who you are on the inside. It's your sense of conviction, and it's being okayed, given the green light from Jupiter. So it's like the door opens up and you know exactly what is taking place. You're back in charge, feeling very empowered, and it's feeling right? Because it's Jupiter. And on the 20th, Venus now is doing the dance with Neptune. And so that is in your 6th house. So here it's a romantic day for you. Venus is love, and Neptune is the higher octave of Venus. So higher love, cosmic love. So circle this in. It's a time for you to celebrate with your significant other. If you were single, well, hey, this could be a day somebody could come to cross your path, perhaps. But it's also extremely artistic. Let's not forget that. Venus is creative. It loves to express what you love. Neptune here is definitely the artist signature. So whether it's music, painting, sculpting, dancing, whatever you find is your fancy, this is a day where some recognition could come into play. On the 24th, some very empowering communication, Mercury and Mars. Mars being your drive, your goal, your ambition, right? The fire that you hold. And Mars now, of course, being in the sign of Sagittarius is is definitely very enthusiastic. So whatever communications, talks you have today is sounding really good. And you're coming across too as feeling more liberated and very point specific in your messages. On the 25th, you might look at something you'd like to purchase. Venus and Jupiter, they're in opposition. Now, that doesn't have to be a bad thing. It's more so, do you really just want it or do you need it? Or could you afford it, or are you putting yourself in the hole? That's the big thing. So, but anyway, here I'm seeing too that on the 26th, though, you are speeding ahead. Mars and the sun being you, your essence, and Mars now in a trine, really taking on supersonic speed. It's your third and your sixth house, so it has to do with people you're communicating with, the direction that you're taking. You're really making it happen here now, Libra, as you're taking the reins of your own transport through the pathway of life. On the 26th, you know, it's a power day. We got that Sun and Mars beautiful lined up, but we also have Venus and Pluto. Venus ruling money, Pluto ruling big money. Put the two of those together and we hear music. We can say the same thing about love and romance. Love is Venus and Pluto is passion. Put the two of those together. It's really nice, especially because you got that action and you being fully behind it with the sun. And this goes for your partner. Your partner is having the same aspects, so you guys can marry each other and share this beautiful time. So I would say, you know, circle around near the 26th. Mercury and Saturn, they are trine on the 29th. So whatever communication or documents perhaps that could come in needs to be signed, you could do that. It feels good. Saturn is retrograde though, but from the 25th. So it has just turned retrograde until that August 13th. But we have a good trine to it, so yes, you can sign if you need to because Mercury's direct. But do expect that there could be some delays or something slowing up, and if that's the case, don't be depressed about it. Sometimes we really need to embrace retrograde planets because why? They're actually looking out for us, giving us an extended time. And this is your third house for communication, travel, siblings, your neighborhood, whatnot. So when you get extended time, it's so that you can actually go in and focus and do a great job in this area, that it's not hastily being sped beyond. So expect that from 13th of August, things will pick up. So, and then in the aftermath, we always can see what the retrogrades did for us. So just trust it, go with it. On the 30th, we got Mercury and Pluto. They're square, so there might be a little hiccup in the matrix here in some kind of talk or communication. However, it's not going to be a long-lasting thing because the next day it looks like Mercury might just turn the whole situation around again, now with a conjunction. So it's one of those things. But a busy month, as you can see, and really loving for what's showing up here in your astrology. Your tarot reading for March will add to the mix with a whole lot more insight, so you might want to check that out as well. So listen, Libra, this is what I have for you here in March. So I will see you in April. Take care now.